He was the man who knew he wouldn't return, yet flew anyway. Now Vladimir Komarov, first soul lost to space, stands cracked and forgotten at an abandoned children's camp outside Moscow. Some heroes decay in silence. That voice cost him everything, taken before he ever chose it. Alessandro Morskai, the last castrato, carried heaven and tragedy in the same breath. A century later, you can still hear exactly what that sacrifice sounded like. Before borders were drawn and deserts were divided, they simply stood, together, unhurried, eternal. A Bedouin couple of the Adwan tribe, 1898, outside their tent, wearing a world that needed no explanation. Frozen boots, empty stomachs, a war already lost but nobody said it aloud. Littorio Division Grenadiers marching toward the kitchen, Stura Valley, winter 1944, hungry men still keeping formation at the very edge of everything. The sky belonged to no one, both sides just kept proving it. A North Vietnamese missile crew locks onto American aircraft, 1972, turning borrowed Soviet steel into a message: this airspace will cost you everything. They pinned their hair, laced their corsets, and called it leisure. Women at the lake, 1890s, carrying the full weight of expectation even into the water, yet somehow, in this moment, they still found joy. He walked that final path knowing exactly what waiting feels like. His victims knew too. Lieutenant Nakamura, March 1946, led to the scaffold in Singapore. Justice moved slowly after the war. But it always, eventually, moved. His words ignited a republic that would last only 133 days. Joseph Pogany stood before revolutionary soldiers in 1919, certain history was finally turning, never imagining he'd later die in Stalin's purges, devoured by his own revolution. The cameras were already rolling when the grenades landed. History doesn't always wait for permission. Michael Stone, 1988, turned a funeral into a battlefield in Belfast. 3 killed, 60 wounded. The world watched every devastating second live. They lived outside every border ever drawn, not on maps, not in mines. Kudelka found them in Zera, 1967, and pointed his lens at a world most eyes deliberately avoided. Some photographs refused to let you look away. Something ancient and enormous surfaced where families swam just days before. A great white exceeding 6 meters, pulled from Chalkidiki's waters in 1985, a reminder that the Mediterranean keeps secrets far larger than anyone comfortably imagines. She entered one frame and rewrote what beauty meant on screen. Merle Oberon, 1933, hiding an entire secret, her mixed heritage concealed for a career that Hollywood would have otherwise never allowed. The camera loved what the industry feared. Even the mascot dressed for war. Bilgewater, the Coast Guard Academy's finest sailor, proudly modeling the new wartime grey in 1944, a reminder that when a nation mobilizes completely, nobody, not even the dog, escapes the uniform. She hadn't yet become the myth. This was just a young woman learning what the camera wanted. Marilyn Monroe, 1949, still becoming herself, unknowingly posing for a legend that would eventually swallow the person whole. 3 old men sitting quietly, carrying a war inside them that killed 620,000 others. The last 3 Confederate veterans, 1951, outliving every enemy, every comrade, every argument. History rarely ends cleanly. Sometimes it just slowly disappears. Power dressed differently here, layered, deliberate, unapologetically sovereign. Ladies of the Mongolian bogged Khanate court, caught between empire's collapse and revolution's arrival, 1911 to 1924, wearing a civilization's final elegance before the Soviet shadow swallowed everything they knew. She was built to terrify, and she never had to fire a single shot to succeed. The Tirpitz, 1941, simply existing in Norwegian fjords paralyzed the entire British Navy. History's most powerful weapon was pure, calculated presence. There are no markers here, just open water holding 1,500 souls beneath it. Latitude 41 degrees 46 minutes north, longitude 50 degrees 14 minutes west, the Atlantic, 1912. The most famous tragedy in history has no monument. Only coordinates. Only silence. Only depth. That voice cost him everything before he was old enough to refuse. Alessandro Morskai, the last castrato, carried both heaven and tragedy in one breath, and a century later, you can still hear exactly what that sacrifice sounded like. She didn't sit for portraits, she directed them, obsessively, relentlessly, for 30 years. Virginia Oldoini, Countess of Castiglione, 1861 to 1895, constructing over 400 images of herself long before anyone called it controlling your own narrative. 65 miles away and it still turned midnight into noon. Las Vegas, June 1957, tourists sipped cocktails on casino rooftops watching an atomic fireball bloom over the Nevada desert, treating the end of the world like entertainment. They left as boys and were returning as something no word quite covers. Canadian soldiers, Europe, 1945, packing up a war, folding away years of mud and loss, finally allowed to remember what home actually felt like. Nobody packed their bags with hope, there was nothing left to pack. Motherless migrant children, California, 1935, wearing the full weight of a broken country on faces that hadn't finished growing yet. The Depression had no mercy for small people. She sat still long enough for history to capture her, but history never bothered learning her full story. Octavia Parker Ferguson, unnamed era, unknown struggle, undeniable presence. Some portraits survive. The lives behind them rarely get the same courtesy. They were American until it became inconvenient to remember that. Japanese Americans, early 1940s, interned on their own soil, by their own government, behind wire that the Constitution was supposed to make impossible. Loyalty was never actually the question. No guns, no bombs, just words crossing open water between steel giants. A TBF Avenger skims the Atlantic, dropping a message the old way, reminding us that even in the most mechanized war ever fought, humans still wrote letters.